Eric Haugen. Check the description box below for tabs and backing tracks on my website, information about exactly what sound tools I'm using today, and all the links. So here we go, playing to changes. It's a multi-step process, so let me walk you through what I did to take this Jeff Lynne ELO song and play to its changes, which I chose because, I mean, dude, if I added some more sevenths to this, this is pretty jazzy progression, really. It's got a lot of secondary 2/5s and trickery and stuff like that. And then I was like, oh, that's a fun one for jazz for rockers. So, step one, before you're like, yo, let me do this, let me shred it. You gotta play the chords. You gotta play the chords of the song as close as possible to each other. So again, let's just take a look at this. Yeah, Mr. Blue Sky is a 12-bar progression. Nothing too crazy. These are interesting, these B flat over C chords. Here, let's play through it. I'm just going to go, super simple style. I'm like, okay, brain, here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's your B flat over C chord, by the way, because this part's a B flat. There's a C. Very 70s chord. Because that's really the first step, is making sure you know the crap out of the chord progression you're going to solo over. Common sense. Makes sense. Of course that makes sense. Step two. Before you even start deciding on what fanciness you're going to do, I do a quick kind of guesstimation of the key, and I watch out for any sort of things that confuse me or confound me, because those are going to be the things I'm like, oh yeah, I definitely am going to need to work with that. So in the case of this song, I'm like, all right, key of F. What? Okay, that's weird. That's weird. Oh, there's that is again. So there's this whole section here that's really not quite key of F. That's the alarm. And, without pontificating any further on that, I just tuck that away. I'm like, yeah, that's a problem. I can't just play F over this whole thing. This last part is actually purely key of F also. So it's like key of F, something, which I actually argue is key of D, but just never without an actual D, because that would be a 2, 5, 1. But then they went to D minor because they're doing it. Anyway, that's how I think of it. But that doesn't even matter right now. You don't even need super go-go gadget music theory skills at this point. You're just like, all right, I see what's going on. I have a rough idea of what's going on, and that's going to inform how much I need to even play to changes, because I've said this in other videos, especially as rockers. Playing to changes is really great for me for making up guitar parts for a song, but generally, I'm not going to burn my brain so hard if I don't have to. I'd rather just make up a really good melody that's got a nice form and a nice shape to it. However, yeah, I chose a song that I was like, you have to in this song, because you can't just cruise in F the whole time. You'll crash. Now, step 3. And this is a big deal, because in an ideal world, we're supposed to be able to play the melody of the song before we solo over it. That's totally like the jazz rule, and is a good idea in general. But that requires really good ear training skills and potentially the ability to read treble clef, to be able to pull up the sheet music and actually read it and... to actually trace out the melody. So I'm going to say that's, a goal to work towards, to be able to read proper music. I don't know. There's a lot of people in the world. Some of us can, some of us can't. I can read music. Slow, so slow at treble clef, but I can do it. But I didn't want to do that for this. I was like, how about we just notice the melody, kind of take a listen to it and see if we can, just at least have a rough idea of the shape of it, which that's going to inform them. That's going to give me some thoughts about at least how to start and maybe where I'm going to connect things. So now let's get into actually playing. So the step of, now that we're going to actually do it, it's step 4, is we just got to pick a starting point, as in a caged shape that we're going to now walk through. That's my advice. So again, I'm starting here with this version of F. Hold on, I charted it all out. Because really what I'm going to do here is just walk through triads. But for me, I don't like to call them triads because a triad is a subset of a cage shape. I think we can see that. Yep, there we are. I'm going to be starting, where am I? In this area here, the quote-unquote C-shaped F. Because, yeah, I was like, that sounds pretty good, and I can actually get a little bit of the melody in that one there. But yeah, the triads are in here. There's a triad, 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 there's a triad inversion. That's why I preach so hard the cage thing, because I'm like, instead of focusing on triads, which for each of these, there's, I think, 5 triads in each of the cage shapes, I'm kind of like, why don't you learn the bigger thing first, because that's going to hold the other thing. Again, you're welcome to disagree with me. It's the internet. People will. But this is how I do it. So I started here with this F, and yeah, I snuck the melody in. That's all I did. So, I'm not going to, well, it's all tabbed out, but, all right, I'll say the numbers. 5, 6. And you can see I'm putting in the melody there. And that's tricky. I went, that's all hammered on to that 10 and 10 there, because look, there's the next F, and there's also the melody. That's hard to do, because it's a slide, and then a hammer on. Tricky. This guitar has bigger frets than normal. They're medium jumbos. I like medium jumbos. I don't like the vintage frets anymore. Probably gonna end up redoing all my guitars that have the vintage frets with the bigger frets. And then kind of come back to it. You can see what that is. And again, yeah, that melody at that point is major pentatonic. I've said this in other videos. A lot of times, the chords might be complicated to a song, but the melody is often pentatonic because it's so singable and catchy. Now is when I start to play the changes, and here's what's going on inside my brain. My brain is like, bro, you got an E minor chord. There it is, because look, there's an E minor. And again, I'll put these charts up on Patreon. And yeah, I'll put the charts up on Patreon for free. The tab will be on my website. There's all the E minors. So I think I'm coming in, I spotted that one there. I was like, aha. Gonna get the quote-unquote A-shaped E minor. Just that little triad part of it. Sure, it's a triad inversion, it's second inversion, but I don't think of it that way. I'm just grabbing whatever's nearby. You're just gonna grab whatever's nearby. I don't know. That's how my brain sees it. So again, that's 9, 9, 8. And my brain is like, you ain't got much more time than that, Eric. You got an A7 chord. And I didn't even choose to address the 7 aspect of it. I was like, boom, there's A. There's an A chord. There's that. And my brain knew that was like it. That was, this song is pretty quick. And then there's a D minor. Yep, because look, there's D minor. So again, that. Now, when I get there, I start to walk it. Because there's a G chord. There it is, right? So yeah, D minor. And then I just, I'm like, well, the next chord's E minor. My brain. And this is another A. So again, that whole D minor to G, E minor to A7, and then here comes a B flat. Because, yep. So I just, again, I'm looking for the closest dude. And then I grabbed a little bit of the melody. Nice fret buzz. And that's just me finding the major scale. Right? Yep, that's what I did there. Yeah, that makes total sense. Now, the second time around, because again, here's my chart. I knew that I had a lot of time on F. You know, this is what I would really do. I'd be like, well, for 3 bars, I'm going to do my Dickey stutter trick on F because I know I'm safe for a little while to doodle around. But yet the whole time, my brain knows that something is coming. It's like, I've said this, I think, in one of my Truefire courses, that like when you're playing, there's you that's playing. I really recommend having another dude that's you over your shoulder that's like the coach version of you that's like, going good, man, going good. Watch out, though, because here comes that E minor, and then here comes the A, and then here comes the D minor. Watch out, then you got a G. You can never focus 100% on the sweet, sweet noodly licks that you're doing when you're playing the changes because there's stuff that you're going to have to, that you're going to have to grab. That's what it's like. So you have to accept that you can't do, well, maybe you can. I can't do as awesome stuff when I'm trying to play the changes because I have to keep track of what's going on. So anyway, the Dickey stutter trick, because again, I've talked about this. That's the Dickey stutter trick, but I just did a piece of it. So again, this is major pentatonic, F major pentatonic with that little flat third in there. So that's 13, 13, and 10. It's kind of like a Scruggs run too, really. Then this walk down some quarter notes there. You know I love quarter notes. Then I did it again to this part of the major pentatonic, 12s and 10s. So again, that run. Here it comes again. Because, yeah, my brain was like, watch out, dude. Here comes E minor. That's a G. Again, you can see here's an E minor here. Here's another E minor here. Cage shapes or triads. To me, cage shapes first. And then my brain's like, that's all you got, man, because here comes an A. Oh, okay. Oh, there it is. So I went, boom, boom, boom. There's D minor. But or, again, cage shape, triad, what do they call this voicing? I don't even know what they call this voicing. A shape. So, let me do that whole thing because it's so fun. D minor, A7. Now here comes, E minor, A7. There's my D minor. And then my brain's like, that's nice, Eric. That's all you get, though, because now here comes the G. See that? Yeah, this is definitely like a, it's blasphemous for me to say this. This is like a Jeff Skunk Baxter. I'm basically playing like Skunk Baxter. I'm the same dude. Just give me a bigger mustache. No, I can't play like him, really. I do love his playing. I love how Jeff plays in the Steely Dan stuff because he's playing to changes. He's doing Hendrix licks, but definitely, again, as a rocker. Okay, yep, you can see that. So that was the D minor. Bro, you got a G. Here it comes. What was that? 7, 9, 8. And then I just did the same thing because, bro, you got an E minor. E minor, E minor. To A7 again. So that, it's like 2 frets up the same trick. Not trick, melody. And I just did the same thing. There you have it. Thanks so much to everybody who supports me in all the ways that you do, be it like, subscribe, and share. That all helps with algorithm relevancy, which generates website traffic. On my website, you can book one-on-one sessions with me to talk about guitar and how to play it, or to talk about your musical life goals. That's what I do. Once I press stop record, I just go right over there into that room and meet with people. I also have a Patreon page that where I will go deeper into things. There's a live stream lesson that I do once a month for patrons that kind of is a lesson, but it's real-time interaction. You also get discount codes and things like that on Patreon. And the third way that I make my living is I make courses in partnership with the folks at Truefire.com. And yes, the Guitar Zen Caged course is the most popular one. It's the best seller because, it's it's this stuff. It's this stuff and how to really absorb it. I really stand by this that like if you really truly get this, yeah, everything else just adds to it. It really helps with the confusion factor. As Bill and Ted would say, be excellent to each other. That includes yourself. Happy Friday. Eat pizza.